Look, we both know exactly why you clicked on this explainer. You've got a massive exam or a huge paper due tomorrow. It's probably the middle of the night, and you are literally doing absolutely everything except what you actually should be doing. You're totally stuck. So let's get you unstuck right here, right now.
Seriously though, why are you watching this instead of studying? You're probably sitting there feeling this overwhelming mix of guilt, dread, and, let's be honest, maybe a little panic. You might literally be staring at a blinking cursor, feeling completely paralyzed. But hey, I am absolutely not here to judge. I'm here to give you an immediate, totally guilt-free, science-backed way out of this trap so you can actually get your work done and, get to sleep tonight.
Okay, let's kick things off by dropping a massive truth bomb. The common assumption is that procrastination is just a time management issue, right? Like you're just lazy or you need to go buy a better planner. But research by psychologists Fuchsia Sorois and Tim Pickle proves that is completely false. Here is your reality check. Procrastination is strictly an emotion regulation problem. You aren't actually avoiding the task itself. Your brain is avoiding the negative feeling the task gives you. It's desperately seeking immediate mood relief instead. And listen, if you're sitting there thinking you're somehow uniquely broken for doing this, you're not. Up to 95% of university students occasionally procrastinate, and about half do it chronically. You're absolutely not alone in this. Your brain is reacting exactly how human biology is hardwired to react when faced with something highly uncomfortable. Because think about it, when we put things off, we kind of trick ourselves into thinking we're buying relief. But the reality? The aftermath just leaves us feeling sad, disappointed, helpless, and overwhelmingly guilty. And here's the really cruel irony. That intense guilt actually makes it so much harder to start the next time. It just creates this vicious, totally exhausting cycle. So why does this keep happening? Well, we have to look inside the brain. Welcome to the amygdala hijack. Your current struggle tonight is literally a biological phenomenon. See, your amygdala is your brain's built-in emotional threat detector. And right now, it's viewing your stressful essay or that giant textbook not as a normal academic task, but as an actual literal danger to your emotional safety. To your brain, it's like a saber-toothed tiger hiding in your syllabus. So what does it do? It smashes the panic button.
It really helps to understand this biological tug-of-war that's happening inside your head. On one side, you've got the prefrontal cortex. That's the logical CEO of your brain. It handles the planning and is actively saying, hey, we really need to study. But on the other side is the amygdala, our threat detector. When the emotional charge of a task gets way too high, maybe because you're terrified of failing, totally overwhelmed, or just incredibly bored, the amygdala wins. It physically overrides your rational CEO to escape those bad feelings. Listen to me closely here. This is not a lack of discipline. It's an evolutionary survival mechanism misfiring at a Word document. On top of that, your brain chemistry is kind of working against you right now. To bridge the gap between wanting to do something and actually doing it, what scientists call task initiation, your brain needs a literal spark of dopamine. It's like the ignition key to your car's engine. But scary, overwhelming, or deeply boring tasks, they don't give you any dopamine. So no dopamine spark means no start. Your engine is essentially flooded. And this is exactly why university students fall into this trap constantly. Think about it. As a student, you're operating in this wild environment of constant distraction, profound anxiety, and massive pressure to be perfect. It is literally a perfect storm for the amygdala. When you're running under these high-stress, high-stakes conditions day in and day out, your brain's emotion management system is already completely maxed out. Which brings us to what psychologists call the college trap. Why are you struggling so much right this exact second? Because that distant deadline and the crushing pressure to write a perfect paper drops your motivation all the way to zero. We fall into this absolutist thinking, like, if I can't write a perfect paper right now, I'm just not going to write anything at all. The perceived value of doing the work feels incredibly low because the deadline feels far away, but the anxiety, that is immediate. So your brain simply chooses the instant gratification of watching just one more video. But hey, here is the amazing news. We can absolutely hack your biology to fight back. Enter the Zeigarnik effect. This is a real biological glitch in our memory that we can exploit tonight. Get this. Your brain absolutely hates unfinished business. Once a task is merely started, even just a tiny bit, your brain actively remembers it, obsesses over it, and desperately wants to finish it just to relieve that cognitive tension. So, the golden question. How do we trigger that effect without setting off the amygdala's panic button? We use the 2-minute rule. Step 1, pick the scary task. Step 2, commit to doing it for just 2 minutes. Step 3, give yourself genuine permission to stop after that. You have to really believe you can quit.
By committing to a ridiculously small step, like literally just opening the document and typing your name, you sneak right past the amygdala's alarm system because it just doesn't feel like a threat. And that tiny action, it generates the exact dopamine spark you need to kickstart the whole process. Now, since we know procrastination is all about emotions, we really need to target your specific problem tonight. We call this the root cause response method. You've got to match your mid-might-friendly strategy to the exact negative emotion that's blocking you. So what is it? Are you feeling anxious, completely overwhelmed, mind-numbingly bored? Let's look at some rapid-fire fixes you can deploy right now for each of these. First up, if you are currently paralyzed by guilt over the hours you've already spent scrolling tonight, here is your secret weapon. Forgive yourself immediately. I know, that sounds super counterintuitive, but research by Michael Wohl and Tim Pyhol actually shows that students who forgive themselves for procrastinating procrastinate significantly less on their very next exam. Beating yourself up just creates more shame. Shame is a negative emotion, which just makes your amygdala want to avoid the task even more. So forgive yourself, drop the baggage, and let's move on. Now, what if you're just feeling totally overwhelmed? Stop relying on willpower. Willpower needs the logical prefrontal cortex, and yours is currently exhausted. Instead, use environmental design, specifically if-then plans. Set a simple, automated rule for yourself right now. For example, if I sit at my desk, then I will immediately open the document. What you're doing is offloading the really hard decision-making from your tired brain straight into your environment. It bypasses the need to deliberate and automatically triggers action. Okay, but what if the issue is just that the task is mind-numbingly boring? Well, then you need to artificially inject some dopamine to get that engine to start. We do this through temptation bundling. You basically pair the dreaded task with a highly rewarding, immediate activity. Like tell yourself you can only listen to your absolute favorite true crime podcast when formatting your citations. Or you can only eat those wildly expensive gummy bears while reading that super dry textbook chapter. You're raising the immediate dopamine value to trick your brain into starting. And look, if you just absolutely cannot face the big scary task right now, no matter what, try structured procrastination. This is a real strategy coined by a Stanford philosopher, and the irony here is just brilliant. You are actively tricking your brain into doing homework just to avoid doing other homework. Put that massive, terrifying task at the very top of your to-do list. Then give yourself full permission to procrastinate on it by doing other useful, smaller tasks further down the list. Things like organizing your notes, replying to an email, or finally formatting that bibliography. You're basically channeling all your frantic avoidance energy into getting actual productive work done. So here's how this whole thing ties together. Procrastination was never the enemy. It was the signal. Your brain isn't failing you, and I promise you are not fundamentally lazy. Your brain is simply trying to manage stress and protect you from negative emotions in literally the only way it currently knows how. But now you know the science. You have the exact proven tools to kindly override that panic system. Which means the most crucial point of this whole explainer comes down to this very moment. Here is my direct challenge to you. Pick the one thing you are avoiding. Forgive yourself for delaying it up until now, and go work on it for exactly 2 minutes. Generate that tiny dopamine spark right this second. Because think about it. If a simple 120-second trick can completely bypass your brain's evolutionary panic button, what other hidden biological glitches could you be using to unlock your true potential? But hey, we'll save that for next time. For tonight, go start and go save your grade.